What is good, you guys? Welcome back to the Hero Report. Welcome back to a brand new video. And guys, I'm heated. I'm absolutely heated. Obviously the Heat are on a 3-game winning streak, so that's a really good thing to see. But that's not the reason why I'm heated, obviously, because the Heat are winning. So why would I be heated because of that? Shout out to the Heat though. They've been playing great basketball. Sorry that I have not posted a video in a week. I've been pretty busy. I just got back home for Thanksgiving break, so I'm gonna be posting a lot more over this break. So yeah, let me tell you guys why I am heated. The reason why I am heated, because I just saw a tweet and I'm really shocked that I had not seen this before. Because this was posted 2 days ago. You guys probably all know, if you guys watch basketball and if you guys are active on NBA Twitter, you guys probably know the account, the NBA Central or NBA Central, whatever you want to call it. They're an account that posts news and a bunch of other, NBA related content, stats and stuff like that. So the NBA Central recently posted 2 days ago their NBA.com's defensive player ladder. Now, obviously, you guys probably know where this is going. You guys probably all saw this because I probably have been living under a rock. The fact that I've not saw this is kind of crazy. But I finally saw this and it was blasphemous. I don't want to sound like Stephen A. Smith, but it was blasphemous. So at number 1, they had Draymond Green. At number 2, they had Miles Turner. And at number 3, they had Gary Trent Jr. No Bam Adebayo in the top 3. And that's why I'm heated, because there is no way that Bam Adebayo, in my mind, should not be first, but in anyone's mind, should not be top 3. Bam Adebayo, in my mind, is the best defender in the NBA, and maybe that's Heat bias, but you can watch Bam and you can tell that he's a really good defender. And the fact that he's not top 3 at least is crazy to me. Is absolutely crazy to me. So we're gonna go through a bunch of stats and stuff like that to try to justify and to try to get the NBA and put the NBA on notice, because there is no way Bam Adebayo should not be top 3. As Heat fans, we have to do better in pushing this agenda. Shout out to all the Heat fans. Shout out to Heat versus haters on Twitter. Everyone has been pushing the agenda, but we got to do it more, because obviously it's not enough. Bam Adebayo, he should be top 3. There's no way he should not. So when I first saw this, I was obviously confused. You guys were probably all confused as well. And then I was like, hold on, maybe it's probably because, the Warriors, the Pacers, and the Raptors are very good defensively. So when I go to team defensive stats, as I did just now on NBA.com, this is right now current defensive stats, defensive rating per team. As we can see, the Golden State Warriors are the number 1 defense. So I can't really argue Draymond Green. I was not going to argue Draymond Green being on the list at all, because I think Draymond is one of the most underrated defensive players in the NBA. I think he's one of the best defensive players in the NBA. Help defender, on-ball defender. I just think he has it all. He's one of the highest IQ players in the NBA as well. We saw, I don't know if you guys watched the Warriors-Nets game, but I did. And Draymond did a really good job in trying to shut Kevin Durant down. Obviously, you can't shut him down, but he did as perfect of a job as you could have done if you're any other defensive player. So the Warriors being 1, cool. I'm not going to fight about Draymond Green. I know how good defensively he is. Miles Turner and Gary Trent that we're going to have to argue about, because there is no way they should be above Bam Adebayo. As we can see, the Warriors are number 1, the Clippers are number 2, Nuggets 3, Suns 4, and then tied for 5 are Brooklyn, Miami, and Chicago. Brooklyn, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty surprising to me that they're tied for 5, because they were one of the worst defensive teams last year, but they seem to have gotten their act together on the defensive end. Washington being 8 is also a huge jump from what they were last year. They were also one of the worst, if not the worst, defensive team in the regular season last year. But that's besides the point. As you can see, like I said, Miami is tied for 5 with a defensive rating of 103.7. And you guys can probably see when you look at all these teams, no Indiana Pacers and no Toronto Raptors. Now, if you guys want to save yourself some time without having to look this up yourself, I scrolled down below and I saw that the Indiana Pacers were number 17 and the Raptors were 24th. And so that kind of just debunked my theory of maybe these teams are higher defensively than the Heat, because I knew the Heat were top 10, but I knew that we were 1 at one point and then we kind of slipped to about 8, 9, and maybe we were just hovering around that point. Maybe the Raptors, who, I know a lot of Raptors fans, they've been hyping up their team defensively, and then Pacers have always been a gritty team. I thought they had jumped up over us, but no, I was mistaken, and the Pacers are at 17, the Raptors are at 24. So I was wrong on that, and that still further emphasizes why Bam Adebayo should have been on this list. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me. Now let's go to individual stats. So we're going to go to Bam Adebayo's stats first. Now this is also by NBA.com. This is very easy to do. If you guys want to look this up yourself, you just have to just look up a player, just type in whatever player and just put defensive stats at the end and search it up on Google. If you just click the NBA.com link, it'll take you to this page where it says tracking defense dashboard. And then you can look at every player's defensive field goal percentage, defensive field goal made, defensive field goal attempted, all in a certain area. So less than 6 feet, 10 feet, 2-pointers, overall 3-pointers, and greater than 15 feet. So we're going to look at overall for this one because we want to see how these players are doing overall in every single arena of the NBA court. So as we go to overall here, we can see that Bam Adebayo's defensive field goal percentage overall on every spot of the court is 36.7%, which is absolutely phenomenal. And as you guys can see here, teams or opposing players are making 4.2 shots out of the 11.3 that they're taking. Phenomenal. Great defense by Bam. But Heat fans, we all knew this. So let's go look at what Gary Trent, Miles Turner, and Draymond Green are doing. Gary Trent Jr., when we go to his overall defense, it's 46.5%, which is a 10% drop off. Obviously, if the percentages go down, that means the player is defending the shots better because the opposing players are not making as much. 46.5% is not bad. I'm not saying Gary Trent Jr. is a bad defender. I want to clear this up. I love Gary Trent. I was one of the people who said that the Raptors won the trade when they traded Norman Powell for Gary Trent, because Gary Trent I thought was a better defender. Obviously, Norman Powell was the better scorer at that point, but Gary Trent was still only 21. And I really thought that, Gary Trent fit their team for the future a lot better than Norman Powell did. And I thought that Gary Trent fit Damian Lillard a lot better than Norman Powell did. So I'm a big fan of Gary Trent, man. He's a dog. And 46.5% defensively is not bad. It's not shabby at all. 4.2 makes on 9 attempts for Gary Trent. But that is about 10% less than what you're getting from Bam Adebayo. 36.7%, like I said, 4.2 makes on 11.3 attempts is crazy. Miles Turner's overall defensive field goal percentage is 42.4%. Again, it's better than Gary Trent's. It's not shabby whatsoever. These are not bad statistics for Gary Trent or Miles Turner. These are very good defensive statistics, obviously. But like I said, Bam is just on another level. 42.4% is, like I said, not bad. 5.9 makes on 14 attempts. Obviously, he has more attempts because he's protecting the rim as a center more. Bam switches out on the perimeter, which is why he doesn't have to go against people, constantly putting up pressure on the rim as frequently as Miles Turner. He still does because he's a center, but Miles Turner is guarding the paint more, which is why he's allowing more shots against him. And then Draymond Green, who like I said, I'm not going to argue about Draymond Green. Draymond Green, if he's above Bam, that's your opinion. I think Bam should be above him. But if Bam was number 1, I would have Draymond Green right behind him at number 2. 40%, which is the best out of the 3 that we just compared, not including Bam. 4.1 makes out of 10 attempts. So as you guys can see from here, Bam Adebayo's defensive field goal percentage is higher than all these people. And I don't want to sound like a guy who just looks at stats. I do watch the games, and you guys can watch games, and you guys can see why Bam Adebayo is so good defensively. Not only does he guard 1, 2, 3, 4, he guards 5 as well, and he's just incredible. The things that he does on the defensive end, and the team being a top 10 defense should tell you everything. If you wanted to reward Gary Trent for being number 1 in deflections, Alex Caruso is right behind him at number 2, and the Chicago Bulls are a top 10 defensive team. In fact, they're tied with the Heat and the Nets with the same defensive rating, but Alex Caruso is not even on the list. So I would probably even have Alex Caruso higher than Gary Trent, because even though Gary Trent probably has more deflections, Alex Caruso is second, and his team is a top 10 defensive team. Last year, Jimmy Butler led the league in steals and deflections, did not get a single peep for Defensive Player of the Year. So how come the tides have turned now? How come all of a sudden it's an opposing player, it's a player on a different team who's leading the league in steals and deflections, they're on the Defensive Player of the Year ladder? Does not make any sense to me. Jimmy Butler was never top 3 on the Defensive Player of the Year ladder. Bam was top 4. I think Bam was 4th at the end of the year. I think it was Gobert, Giannis, and Draymond, and then Bam was number 4. Or it might have been Gobert, some Embiid, and Draymond or something like that. I know Bam was number 4 though, for a fact. Jimmy Butler was not top 4. He might have not even been top 5, and he led the league in steals and deflection throughout the whole year. So it does not make sense to me. The NBA has to do a better job setting criteria, because the Miami Heat being a top 10 defensive team, a top 5 defensive team, if you want to look at defensive ratings, they're tied for 5th right now. And Bam Adebayo holding opposing players to 36.7% shooting overall from every part of the court is unbelievable and should deserve some love. So that's why I'm heated. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Raptors fans, Pacers fans, Warriors fans, if you guys want to come at me, feel free to come at me. But I know deep down in your minds, you know that Bam Adebayo should be a top 3 Defensive Player of the Year candidate right now. And in my mind, he should be number 1. So I don't know, man. Maybe I've just been ranting for no reason right now. I don't want to sound like a stat nerd or whatever, but this is the first time I've even looked. I'm looking at these stats because I knew that my eye test had not failed me. And yeah. So NBA, be better. Heat fans, we got to push this agenda, man. Bam Adebayo has to get his respect. You know, it's been too long. Everyone knows he's an elite defender. Every fan knows he's an elite defender, but for some reason the NBA does not recognize that. So we have to make sure that they recognize that. We have to make sure that Bam Adebayo gets his love and gets his respect. He was campaigning for it at the end of last season. This season, he's already said he wants to win the award. We have to make sure that Bam Adebayo gets this award, because he is the best defender in the NBA, in my opinion, and maybe in a lot of your opinions. So, yeah, hopefully this can change. Hopefully, you know, we see some more respect for him. But let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. I'll see y'all later. Peace.